Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got distracted when your chair got away from you. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Griscoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Ray Rauer.
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Geisler.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Cook.
Here. Thank you. Next item is to adopt this evening's agenda.
Motion to adopt agenda?
Second.
Motion by Carlson, second by Johnson. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. And we have, right off the bat, we have a proclamation recognizing volunteers. National Volunteer Week provides an opportunity to recognize the impact of volunteer service and the power of volunteers to tackle society's greatest challenges and build stronger communities. So, whereas volunteers enrich the lives of many through their tremendous commitment and generosity, and whereas Coon Rapids has been blessed with citizens willing to volunteer their time, talent, and energy to improve the quality of life in our community, and whereas in 2022, hundreds of volunteers will donate thousands of hours to the success of Coon Rapids Senior Services and its programs, and whereas the City Council is fortunate to have more than 70 citizen volunteers serve on 9 advisory commissions, contributing to the overall well-being of the city, and whereas volunteers are truly building stronger communities and are deserving of our special recognition for their energy and enthusiasm in strengthening communities throughout Minnesota. And now, therefore, I, Jerry Cook, Mayor of the City of Coon Rapids, on behalf of the Coon Rapids City Council, hereby recognize the valuable contributions made by volunteers for the enrichment and betterment of our community and express our gratitude to them for sharing their time and talents. Proclaimed this 19th day of April, 2022. And we do thank those volunteers. We actually had a nice commission dinner last week honoring our volunteers for all of our various commissions. And now next week, we've got something over in the Senior Center thanking the volunteers over there, so. All right. Next item on our agenda is to approve the minutes of April 5th, 2022.
I'll move approval of the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Hernandez Jr. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. One abstention, Councilmember Ray Rauer. And we are on to our consent agenda. The first one is to approve a 3.2% malt liquor, wine, and strong beer on sale and Sunday liquor license for Tono Pizzeria and Cheesesteaks, 3500 124th Avenue Northwest, Suite 120. Antonio Domenico Gambino, a representative of Tono Rapids LLC, has submitted an application for 3.2% malt liquor, wine, and strong beer on sale and Sunday liquor licensing to be used at 3500 124th Avenue Northwest, Suite 120. The license and investigation fees have been paid. The police department is conducting the background investigation as required by the city's code. Proof of workers' compensation and liquor liability coverage has been received, and approval of the license would be conditioned upon a successful background investigation and the Minnesota Department of Public Safety Alcohol and Gambling Enforcement Division's approval. So we're looking to approve issuance of the 3.2% malt liquor, wine, and strong beer on sale and Sunday liquor licensing to Tono Rapids LLC, doing business as Tono Pizzeria and Cheesesteaks, located at 3500 124th Avenue Northwest, Suite 120, contingent upon the completion of successful background investigation and the Minnesota Department of Public Safety Alcohol and Gambling Enforcement Division's approval. Next on our consent agenda is to approve final payment to Pioneer Power Incorporated for Project 21-8, the 2021 West Water Treatment Plant Booster 4 and 5 upgrade. And this just settles out for the change orders. The final payment will be $15,439.74. The change orders were for installing an Ethernet cable from the well to the control panel and for special pipe fittings and labor to fix alignment issues. So we're looking to approve the change orders and the final payment to Pioneer Power Incorporated in the amount of $15,439.74 for Project 21-8, 2021 West Water Treatment Plant Booster 4 and 5 upgrades. Next on our consent agenda is to accept a trail, snow storage, and drainage and utility easements from Parent Professional Properties. On April 5th, 2022, City Council approved a lot split for an existing office property that currently includes 2 buildings. It was proposed to subdivide an existing lot into 2 lots, and the subject property currently includes 2 office buildings, and the subdivision is necessary to facilitate a potential sale of one of the buildings. Let's skip down to, as conditions of approval, a trail and snow storage easement for the portion of the existing public trail located on proposed parcel A, and 5-foot drainage and utility easements shall be provided by the property owner to the city. So we're looking to accept easements for trail, snow storage, drainage, and utility purposes from Parent Professional Properties LLC over portions of property on parcel A and B located on Coon Rapids Boulevard. Item 6 is to approve the development agreement with Pheasant Hollow. The council approved a final plat for the Pheasant Hollow subdivision located at 12031 Partridge Street at its meeting on March 22nd, 2022. And one of the conditions of final plat approval was that the developer enter into a development agreement with the city for installation of public improvements. So we're looking to approve the development agreement with North Star Improvements LLC related to construction of improvements within Pheasant Hollow, a 4-lot, single-family subdivision. And item 7 on our agenda this evening is to accept sidewalk and snow storage easement from Scannell, isn't it Scannell? Scannell Properties, number 623 LLC, over portions of parcel A located at 94XX East River Road. On February 17, 2022, the Planning Commission approved a site plan for a new multi-tenant industrial building at 94XX East River Road, and as part of this approval, an easement is required to accommodate a future public sidewalk on the property. So we're looking to accept the easement for sidewalk and snow storage purposes from Scannell Properties, number 623 LLC, over portions of parcel A located at 94XX East River Road. And item, wait a minute here, what did I just do? 7, 8, oh, I saw them again, and I thought, what did I do here? And this is to accept, item 8 is to accept a right of entry agreement with Scannell Properties, number 623 LLC, same property, and the approval was conditioned upon a right of entry agreement which allows the city to periodically enter the property to exercise hydrants and valves and flush the water main system. The utility and drainage system within the site are considered private, and the property owner will continue to own and maintain these items. The right of entry agreement simply provides the city the ability to ensure appropriate public safety. So we're looking to accept the attached right of entry agreement with Scannell Properties number 623. And item 9, which is the last item on our consent agenda, is to receive and approve the 2022 Pay Equity Implementation Report. The Minnesota Legislature passed the Local Government Pay Equity Act in 1984, and this act requires political subdivisions to establish equitable compensation relationships between female-dominated, male-dominated, and balanced classes of employees to eliminate any gender-based wage disparities. Essentially, female-dominated employee classes cannot be consistently compensated below male-dominated classes when performing comparable work. So this act requires that the city submit a report to the state's Department of Employee Relations, providing actual wage and job evaluation information for employees every 3 years. The last report was submitted in 2019, and the city was found to be in compliance with pay equity standards. And now we must submit a report for 2022 that reflects the data as of December 31st, 2021. And this memorandum, includes 2 attachments for our review. The first attachment, called the Pay Equity Implementation Report, provides basic information about the city and its compensation system. And the mayor must sign this report before it is submitted to the DOER, which is that Department of Employee Relations. And the second attachment, called Compliance Report, provides the initial statistical analysis of the city data that was entered into the doers pay equity system. Based upon this analysis, it appears that the city has met pay equity standards again, and the DOER will review the information after it's been formally submitted and will provide the city with an official decision regarding pay equity compliance. So we're looking by motion to receive and approve the 2022 pay equity report as submitted.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Johnson?
I would move approval and acceptance of the 7 items on the consent agenda, which are agenda items 3 through 9.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Geisler. Discussion or questions?
Your Honor.
Councilmember Johnson?
On item number 3, it's kind of an interesting one, which is the beer and liquor license for Tono's. And I did want to just mention that I did get an email on this one from a person who identified as Joe Allen, apparently connected to the airport in Blaine. And the email actually prompts me to want to clarify something and ask a question of Ms. Lensmeyer on the license granting and process. So the email is written to me, and I checked with a few other council members. I don't think anybody else got the email. So it was, "Dear Mr. Johnson, utterly incredible that your people cannot grant a simple beer license to this pizza shop for going on 1 year now. Does your council support small business or not?" Parenthetically, yes, we do. I have not been in touch with Tono's I have been in touch with Tono's management, and they continually tell me that your city's licensing office is, quote, really slow in granting their license. Now, if that is not the case, please let me know and thank you. So, Mr. Allen, that is not the case. Ms. Lensmeyer, can you tell us when Tono's application was completed with the city?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Johnson, the initial application was submitted March 22nd, deemed to be incomplete, missing the necessary financial paperwork. That was received on April 4th. At that point in time, we put it through the necessary steps, and here we are just about 2 weeks later approving it or asking council to do so.
Right. And so is the process normally that when an application is submitted, it comes into the clerk's office for review, and then if they're missing something or we need a little bit of additional information, we let them know, and then hopefully they get it back to us within a quick period of time, and then we can take action on that license application?
That's correct.
Once it's completed, how much time do we have before we really are supposed to get those things acted upon and before the council?
30 to 45 days. We've not had to use that time once documents were submitted. So
Right.
we have a lot more time than we took.
All right, very well. I wanted to make that clarification. I wanted to assure Mr. Allen that it had not been taking a year or long or so. I also want to say that Tono's is a great restaurant, and I think Mr. Allen can look forward to getting a beer there pretty soon. Thank you.
And since the accusation was that it took more than a year, we should clarify it was March and April of 2022, right?
That would be correct, yes.
March and April of this year when we
Thank
got
you,
it.
Mr. Mayor.
There we go. Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments on the consent agenda?
No.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and the consent agenda is approved and adopted. We're up to item 10, under bid openings and contract awards. We're looking to consider Resolution 22-1 sub 9, awarding a contract for street reconstruction project 22-1. Mr. Himmer, you want to touch on this, or do you want me to read your discussion points?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I can briefly touch on, city staff put this project out for bid. We've done numerous public meetings on it, open houses. The numbers came back strong. We had good spread of bidders. So we came in slightly above engineer's estimate. Douglas Kerr Underground has done work in the city in the past. We would recommend approval of the contract in the amount of $5,320,565.01. And this is for the area generally south of the railroad tracks, north of Coon Rapids Boulevard, on either side of Round Lake up in the Wedgewood neighborhood. Actually, both projects are in that area, and we'll be talking about the next one next, but also the same contractor. So I'm happy to answer any questions on this particular one.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 22-1, sub 9, awarding a contract to Douglas Kerr Underground LLC in the amount of $5,320,565.01.
Second.
Motion by Geisler and a second by Carlson. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
a question for Mr. Himmer on this one. You said it came in slightly above the engineer's estimate. Is the 15% that we're adding in for construction costs and contingencies, is that included in the engineer's estimate?
No, it is not included. That's straight construction cost.
Okay, but it is in the budget, the 15% contingency?
That's correct. I mean, that's basically our staff time,
Yep.
which is covered in various different locations, and then some miscellaneous geotech and material testing contracts that we utilize, yep.
Got it, thank you.
I think while you're talking about the money, it's interesting to note that, you know, with the contingency, we're just over $6 million, but the way that's funded is from properties, benefiting properties that are assessed, and from the water system maintenance fund, from the sanitary sewer maintenance fund, from the stormwater utility fund, from the street reconstruction fund, and from the sidewalk construction fund. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of pots that we take money from, right?
Yeah, lots of pots.
Lots of
Yeah.
pots, yeah, okay. All right, any other discussion on this? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And item 11, very similar, to consider resolution 22-2, sub 9, awarding a contract for street reconstruction project 22-2. Mr. Himmer, same story?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, this one doesn't have any water main replacement on it. It is Douglas Kerr as the low bidder. I think actually that may help us this year. Same area, same contractor, easier to keep a handle on them. We're going to have to wait a little bit for some of the water main materials as part of 21-1 or 22-1, so they can basically treat it as one project and stage it in such a way. So this one's 3.6 miles. It is basically the Wedgewood neighborhood in that same location near the railroad tracks and Round Lake Boulevard. Notices have gone out, so people should be receiving them. We'll do meetings in the parks, meet the contractor, project representatives and such. So I would recommend awarding to Douglas Kerr in the amount of $4,507,523.21.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Himmer?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 22-2, sub 9, awarding a contract to Douglas Kerr Underground LLC in the amount of $4,507,523.21.
Second.
Well, we had all kinds of people ready to move it. Motion by Geisler, second by Carlson. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
For Pablo? Councilmember Hernandez Jr., sorry. You caught me off guard.
It's Tuesday, it's all right. Quick question, Mr. Himmer. With both reconstruction projects, does it just, why are they separated? Couldn't we just bundle it together as one project, or what separates both projects, and why do we have to have two separate bids? Why can't we just bundle it in one and just kind of package it in one instead of just, you know, maybe less paperwork or?
Sure. Councilmember Hernandez Jr., part of it is from a staffing perspective. It's hard to assign one person to cover that. I mean, certainly we could do that behind the scenes, but typically in years, which hasn't been the case since you've been here, is one of them is typically a state aid project, so it's a different funding source, a different type of review, different approvals that go with it. It's a way that we're easier to track internally for us as well, and then just from the financing standpoint of where the dollars are coming from to pay for it. Considering what we did this year and maybe some of the challenges that are out on the horizon, it's something that I've already considered. It may make sense from a staging, but sometimes when they're on various parts of the city, it's also difficult to do so. This year, it just seemed to make sense because it was right in that same location, and I think that's why that contractor bid it so hard, that this is probably their work for the whole summer, and they don't have to move anywhere.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want
Councilmember
to
Geisler?
make a note that there's going to be a lot of road construction in Ward 4 this summer. So, looking forward to new roads.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 12 is to consider Resolution 22-4 sub 9, awarding a contract for miscellaneous city parking lot and trail reconstruction, Project 22-4. We have quite a list of things here. The proposed improvement locations, we're looking at City Hall back parking lot, the West Water Treatment Plant, Aspen Park Trail reconstruction, and an ADA pedestrian curb ramp, Cardinal Woods Park Trail reconstruction, basketball court replacement, ADA pedestrian curb ramp installations, Wildwood Park Trail relocation and installation of a new culvert, Kennedy Park, tennis court replacement, Epiphany Park, basketball court replacement, Mercy Park, basketball court replacement, Bunker Hills Dog Park trail extension, new trail connection, and an ADA pedestrian curb ramp installation, and then an Avocet Street ADA curb ramps and crosswalk, trail relocation, ADA pedestrian curb ramp installations. Mr. Hammer, anything else on that?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, we received some real competitive bids on this. It kind of shows what paving contractors are hungry for out there without a lot of utility work to be done. We thought that this might be a little more challenging considering all the bits and pieces. We do have a new contractor coming to town, Aslaxon Services. They're out of Red Wing. We have done our reference checks on them, but this is kind of the work that's right up their alley. So we're excited to see the number, obviously. Various funding sources from the Park Improvement Fund, the Water Fund, Facilities Construction Fund, Park Maintenance and Repair. So there's a lot of funding sources that go into this as well, considerably less than what our engineer's estimate was. And as you mentioned, we have a new trail alignment we're looking to connect up into the dog park and just fix the alignment on either side of Avocet Street so it's easier to maintain. And there's an item number 14, it looks like, where we'll consider joint powers with Anoka County to allow us to construct on their property. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this project.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hammer?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Griscoviac?
Mr. Hammer, do you have can I ask questions on specific projects?
Certainly.
So in Wildwood Park, it says trail reconstruction of 190 feet and installation of a new culvert. Can you explain where that is? Wasn't that trail just reconstructed a couple of years ago?
Councilmember Skoviak, let me pull up the attachment that shows the locations. Unfortunately, they're just dots on a map.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
The dot wasn't enough detail?
No, not enough detail.
Typically, we'll put the backup information to
Yeah.
show the specific locations. Unfortunately, off the top of my head, I'm not clear on the exact location. I can assure you, though, we're not going to fix something we recently just fixed. This is just our rotating plans where we have all kinds of trail maintenance that's needed. We take our annual budget and we bite off as much as we can with the dollars that are available. These are just the next ones on the list. I'm happy to provide that information to you later with specific locations, I guess, for all of these, for yourself and the rest of the council. I could probably find them rather quickly. I'll email them out, if not before the end of tonight, certainly tomorrow.
I know it's a small section of this, and so, yeah, if you can email it out, that's fine.
Certainly.
Okay. Councilmember Rayrower?
Yeah, I just want to thank staff and thank you, Mr. Himmer, for continually working to maintain our parks and trails and keeping things replaced and up to date. I just, every time I go to a park, I use a trail in Coon Rapids, things are well maintained and look really nice, so I appreciate that, and keeping it on a nice rotation. With that, I make a motion to adopt Resolution 22-4 Sub 9, awarding a contract to Aslickson Services Incorporated in the amount of $436,511.60 for the 2022 miscellaneous city parking lot and trail reconstruction project.
Second.
Motion by Rayrower, second by Geisler. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And the motion carries. Item 13 is to consider contract award for the 2022 Street Maintenance Program, Project 22-5. Mr. Himmer, there was quite a disparity in a few of these bids. It was like a couple of these guys didn't want the work, or actually, yeah, crack sealing in particular.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, these are always competitive. There's typically the same cast of characters that do bid on them, and it's usually back and forth each year. So while one may get the crack sealing, they don't get the seal coating. If they get the seal coating, they don't get the crack sealing. I'm a little disappointed that Wade leaves the council and now Sir Lines-A-Lot doesn't get the bid, and he used to enjoy making that recommendation. So this year, Sir Lines-A-Lot was trumped by Warning Lights. So again, it's the same contractors. They know us. It's a consortium up here with, I think we got 20-some cities involved this year. The city's portion of this here in Coon Rapids is about $275,000. It's considerable work. We also have some other items we're working on for other road maintenance projects. So I thank you for your support in trying to maintain these roadways. It's not a reconstruction component to it, but it makes them last a lot longer. So we're satisfied with the bids. All the other cities have agreed that nobody opted out. Everyone stayed exactly with what was there. So we've got various contracts here, seal coating with Pearson Brothers, pavement markings with Warning Lights, crack sealing with Allied, and fog sealing of trails and roadways with Pearson Brothers as well. So I can answer individual questions on any components of this, and I'm happy to do so.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Hammer? No. All right. Somebody want to move this forward then?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Rayrower?
are these individual or all together?
You can do these all five together.
All right, so I make a motion for adoption of resolution number 22-5 sub 9A, awarding a contract to Pearson Brothers Incorporated for bituminous seal coating in the base bid amount of $722,489.45 and the alternate amount of $722,489.45. And resolution number 22-5 sub 9B, awarding a contract to Warning Lights of Minnesota Incorporated for pavement markings in the amount of $226,026. And resolution number 22-5 sub 9C, awarding a contract to Allied Blacktop Company for crack sealing in the amount of $396,943.79. And resolution number 22-5 sub 9D, awarding a contract to Pearson Brothers Incorporated for fog sealing streets in the amount of $146,100. And resolution number 22-5 sub 9E, awarding a contract to Pearson Brothers Incorporated for fog sealing trails and parking lots in the amount of $78,896.10.
Second.
Motion by Rayrower,
You had
second.
the easy part.
You needed a break before you said. All right, motion by Rayrower, second by Geisler. Is there further discussion on this, Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And we are on to item 14. consider a joint powers agreement with Anoka County for a city trail extension in Bunker Hills Regional Park. Mr. Himmer, you seem to have a nice way of truncating these. Do you want to handle
Yes,
this one?
Mr. Mayor, Council, as alluded to under the previous item for trail maintenance, or I'm sorry, for the miscellaneous asphalt projects, we worked with Anoka County to allow us to add a stub coming in off of Avocet Street up under the power lines to tie into the parking lot at the dog park. That's something that we hadn't been allowed to do in the past. There's ski jorn trail, they don't maintain it, so people would have to walk all the way around. It was creating some time. I think it goes back to past council members who started the discussion. It got into the budget last year. You were all agreeable to doing that. So we're gonna move forward. Anoka County is agreeable to allow us to place it on their property. It's 100% city cost to build and to maintain. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Himmer?
Nope, Your Honor.
Councilmember Johnson?
I'll move approval of the execution of a joint powers agreement with Anoka County for the construction of a 10-foot wide paving trail within the Bunker Hills Regional Park as described in the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Ray Rower. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. We're on to item 15, to consider resolution 22-57, amending the revolving construction fund. Mr. Stemmetl or Mr. Himmer again?
I'm on a roll, Mr. Mayor.
All
Council.
right.
This is for the Hawk pedestrian crossing on Round Lake Boulevard. We typically have issues with that in the wintertime. We've got some solar component to it as well. Every winter when the weather gets cold, we're out there almost on a daily, weekly basis. This has been in the budget for 2 years. We weren't able to get to it last year, unfortunately. So we upped our bids, or what our estimates were. We estimated $60,000 a year ago. When we actually were putting the plans together this winter, they were closer to 75. We have some quotes in for somewhere, I think they're 86,000. So I didn't estimate very well that I'm asking you for 50% more here. We've got some contracts around 86,000, 87,000, plus some of the design work and inspections that are gonna need to happen. So this is a budget amendment to the revolving construction fund to actually rebuild and upgrade that Hawk pedestrian push-button actuated signal. And I can answer any questions anyone has.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Himmer on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
you mentioned that we have bids. How many bids did you get this one? Because this one really is kind of an outlier at 50% over. It almost feels like we're getting price gouged on this one, but how many bids?
Councilmember Griscoviac, we had 3 bids, and they were all within about $5,000 of each other. And I can pull them up now, and I can share those with you as well. But yes, there were 3 bids. The low bid was $300 off from the second lowest bid.
And did we get bids last year, or did we just put it off to this year altogether?
We didn't have the opportunity
Okay.
to put the plans together. We never went out for
But,
bid.
but we knew at that time that it was gonna be more. You originally budgeted 60, you figured maybe 75 last year, and now we're at 86? Is that kind of the way it's looking?
Well, we were at 60 back in March of last year, so a year ago. But as
year
we
ago.
were doing the plans, we thought then maybe it'd be closer to 75. That's what our estimates were when it went out for bid, and they all came in between like 85 and 90.
Okay. Busy roadway, of course. you know,
Yep.
so.
So, Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 22-57, amending the revolving construction fund to complete the replacement of the Hawk signal system on Round Lake Boulevard.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Griscoviac. Discussion? Mr. Himmer, is this going to be kind of the same functional, like this one right now, when they press the button, it flashes red, and you stop at the flashing red. If there's nobody there, you can go.
That's correct, Mr.
And a lot of people don't understand that, and you sit behind them and go, okay, come on, there's nobody there, they're already gone.
We're going to utilize as much of the existing system as we can. There'll be LED components to it and just a hardwired electrical component that's insulated. And we got some new wiring that we have to do, but it'll basically look the same as what you got today, and it'll function in the same way.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.?
Mr. Himmer, was like, with the rising cost, was that just due to just materials and just with the rise of everything? And was that why the bids were higher than was estimated?
Councilmember Hernandez Jr., I didn't really ask what
Okay.
because the numbers were so close.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that's the case. It's been the case with pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you got to find it,
Yes.
let alone what the costs are going to be.
Yes.
So I assume that's the same thing, which makes me kick myself for not hustling and getting it done last year. So
Okay.
I apologize for that.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion on this? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 16 is to consider Resolution 22-58, approving MnDOT Agreement Number 1050142, Master Partnership Contract between the State of Minnesota and the City of Coon Rapids. And this looks like another Mr. Himmer one.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, it's similar to what we would consider our master consulting agreement. MnDOT has some specialties. Primarily what we use this for is concrete inspections and asphalt batch plant inspections on a lot of our reconstruction projects, maybe some specialty guardrail work, things of that nature where we may not want to go to a private consultant, and they've got the expertise to do so. So this is, I believe it's a 3-year contract. It just revolves. They noticed it was coming due, and so I'm asking if we can renew this one. It doesn't cost us anything unless we go out and utilize their services.
It's actually 5 years. July 1st, 2022, and expiring June 30th, 2027. So we won't have to address it again right away if we approve this.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Raybrower?
I make a motion to approve the master partnership agreement, MnDOT agreement 11050142, and corresponding resolution 22-58, and authorize city officials to execute the agreement with the state of Minnesota through its Commissioner of Transportation beginning July 1st, 2022, and expiring June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion by Raybrower, second by Carlson. Is there discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And we're on to item 17. Consider Resolution 22-65 Sub-8, accepting plans and specifications for Public Works HVAC modifications and authorize solicitation of bids. This is just the Mr. Himmer show tonight. I like it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. This is a project that was included in the Facility Construction Fund this year. Public Works building was built in 3 separate phases, and so there's not the most efficient system. Things were kind of cobbled together. This allows us to add VAV boxes to improve efficiency, air circulation. There's a lot of dead duct work. I mean, what this is going to do is just make the thing run the way it was supposed to run, as if it was one single system. We've also got some remodeling going on down there. So the idea is, let's make the thing look nice. There'll be one more item that has to still occur down there, and that's the roof, much like here. So in the next probably 3 years, you'll see that one coming in. But it's kind of an investment back in the Public Works facility this year. It's been quite a while. This one is specifically to the HVAC system, and again, it's going to get it all running as one system for the entire building. And expand into areas where there wasn't, our sign shop, our metal shop, where there isn't good ventilation and circulation. This will also improve that. So I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you. Councilmember Raybrower?
What 2 roofs did you say are coming close to due? Just curiosity.
Well, there's 2 in the budget this year. It's the east and west water treatment plant. We did the City Hall one 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So the next one coming will be the roof at Public Works.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Carlson?
make a motion to adopt resolution number 22-65 Sub-8, accepting plans and specifications for Public Works HVAC modifications and authorize the solicitation of bids. Second.
Motion by, motion by Carlson, second by Johnson. Is there discussion on this, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And we are up to the open mic public comment. Is anybody here to address council? I like right away, just shakes head, no. No. Nobody here for open mic, all right. I don't have any reports on previous open mics. And we are up to other business. And I want to ask a question before I forget, related to the dog park. Mr. Himmer, those lights that we added to the dog park stay on 24/7. Shouldn't those go off at night? You know, like when the park, doesn't the park close at 10? Shouldn't the neighbors be able to have their backyards back again instead of having those bright lights all night?
Mr. Mayor, those in the parking lot probably will remain dawn to dusk. They're owned by Connexus Energy. They just have light sensors to them. I can certainly check with Anoka County. They were the ones that contracted for this work, but it was my understanding it's no different than the parking lot lights here at City Hall or the parking lot lights at Public Works or the ice arena, that when it gets dark, the light sensor triggers and they come on until, dusk till dawn.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, well, I was thinking since it was a park, that they would go off like when the park closed.
Well, we have them at Riverwind, Sand Creek, all the other parks that the parking lot lighting remains on. I'm guessing if there's a light inside the facility itself, that one could probably come off, but anything that's from a parking facility, I can see if there's something that can be done about that. I'm guessing the chief may have some thoughts about security or something around that, but I'll look into it and let you know what I find out.
Okay, well, yeah.
They're bright.
They're bright.
They are bright.
Yeah, we got shown them last week or
we did.
2 weeks ago. All right. Secondly, just wanted to remind everybody that this weekend is next weekend, April 29th and 30th, but this is our last council meeting before then, is the Don't Worry Skate Happy 2022 Ice Show back at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. Talented skaters from Coon Rapids Skating School, ages 4 to adult, will showcase their skills as part of the skating show, and it's Friday night and Saturday night, April 29th and 30th at 7:30 p.m., $12 for adults, $7 for children. Kids 4 and under are free. Tickets are available in person at the Ice Center and online starting April 1st. That's quite a show they put on. And then secondly, next Tuesday night, we have the Local Board of Appeal and Equalization. And that will be at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. If you have questions regarding your property's valuation, please contact the assessing department. This would be a really good week to do that. Because in most cases, any concerns you have about the value can be resolved without having to appear at the local board meeting. But that is the last chance, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Stemwell. Anything else? Any other business to come before council?
Mayor, Council, I'll just mention a couple of things since Tim has done such a great job of communicating. I'll give him a little bit of a breather. We are entering into street reconstruction season, not only on our local streets, but all over. I'm sure folks are familiar now with the Highway 10 project, if you weren't prior to that. So there are a lot of good opportunities to get updates on what those projects are, the timing of those projects, when they may affect you and when they might not, either through the city website, the county website, or other sources. So if you go to our website, you can look under the street department and find information there, even sign up for updates on those projects, things of that nature. We're also getting into, if the weather eventually warms up, into property maintenance season, if you will. If you have complaints or issues with storage, long grass, we're really getting to that season. Just know there's a lot of information, again, on the city website or other sources about what those standards are in our community. In fact, we've launched a new program called Know the Rules. You may have seen either on CTN or on our city website, which is trying to shed a positive light on how we can all maintain our properties here in Coon Rapids for the betterment of everyone around us. Really just trying to take a proactive approach toward it. But if you are having issues in your neighborhood with a neighbor or property you see when you're driving about, you can use the Report It tool online. You can call us here at City Hall. There are a lot of options to make us aware of that, and then we'll follow up and see what's going on. So just thought I'd mention those couple things.
Excellent, thank you. All right, other business to come before council this evening?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Johnson and a second by Carlson to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. How did I get so far from